Hey, yeah, what's up? This Disciple Marcello Currents reign back up in this anti-Illuminati all day, anti-America all day, anti-cop all day, and everybody with him, yeah. So, this video is going to be about Dave Chappelle's stand-up where he talks about sticks and stones. It's called Sticks and Stones. It's the comedy stand-up show, Sticks and Stones. So, in the show, he comes to the point where he say he doesn't believe Michael Jackson did all these things to um, children, and the real evidence of that is his relationship with Macaulay Culkin. Okay, so here you go. He gets to the point where he says, Macaulay Culkin never accused Michael of doing anything inappropriate to him. So he then goes on to say now that he is not a pedophile, but if he was, then Macaulay Culkin would be the first kid that he is having sex with, basically. Okay, my thing is this. No disrespect to Dave Chappelle. What I think is he's a genius because what he did was he showed the culture that it's like he showed the culture that, it's like knocking out two birds with one stone because he shows that he can make a joke talking about himself as a pedophile, showing sexual desire for a child, and everyone laughs and everybody thinks it's funny, but no one was like that with Michael Jackson. And see, let's talk about this for a split second. The real reason people had problems with Michael is because he obviously was non-white and he didn't act black. Let's keep it real. I know y'all don't like it. I know y'all don't like it. But Michael changed the color of his skin. Let's look at what Michael did. Michael changed the color of his skin. Well, let's just put it like this. We don't know. All we know is his skin complexion changed. Okay. Everything of him nothing about his appearance looked African at all. Not to mention his nose. We know how many surgeries been done to his nose. So there was nothing African. His lips were tattooed pink. So there was nothing African by features concerning Michael Jackson. Okay? So that being said, he was rejected by black people. That's what I think. I think a lot of people, it broke their hearts because a lot of people felt like Michael did it because he was just so high status, and you never know, man. Somebody might have came to him and said, look, who knows who came to him? All we know is he was bigger than anybody in the world, and at first he looked black. Just some would say it's almost comparable to the Egyptian statues over in Egypt. At first he looked black. At first those statues looked black, right? Boom. It looked like black people on the statues. Then it changed. Now you don't see no nose on it. Same thing with Michael Jackson. First he had an African nose. It's like they blew his nose off like they did the Egyptians. Blew his nose off, made him feel. I know his father was part of the reason why he felt insecure about his looks. But I think that it might have been a sinister thing going on where people wanted to change his appearance because he was so big and they didn't want black people to be that big, an appearance of a black person to be that big. That's just my personal opinion. I'm not saying it's gospel. I'm not saying I agree. I'm not saying this is totally, I 100% believe this is true. But I do think that there are some people that have preferred that he did not look as black as he did before all of those things happened, because he was after Thriller, everyone knew he was gonna be bigger than life. I mean, when the numbers came in, they already knew. And not too much longer after that, all of a sudden, his whole appearances is changing. Everything is changing about his, all of a sudden, and look, I don't know what really happened with his appearance. Maybe it was that it did happen. All I do know is what we do know is he was bigger than anybody and everybody, and he still is. And he was not even considered a light-skinned man by anybody's standard. Black, white, you couldn't say he was light-skinned at all. And that's not a bad thing. Like I always tell people, there are some beautiful brown skin, beautiful dark skin. Complexion does not say beauty. And that's real. I'm not just saying it to be nice. There are some people that have some very beautiful features, but they're not light skinned. And they're not light skinned. They have beautiful features, and they're not light skinned. So he looked good as he was. At Thriller, he still had some work done then. It looked like it. Even in Thriller times, it looked like he had something going on. But if he had just stayed there, it would have been, he would have had the full embrace. So I think when he changed, he started changing, he got bigger and bigger. Think about it. When he got big, that's when he changed. I'm not saying that that's why he changed, but that is the time when he began to change. It'd be like when everybody starts seeing him as like bigger than life, you know what I'm saying? Almost like an action figure in the late 80s and the early 90s. When he hit that space in that place, then that's when all these changes start happening. And that's just, if it did happen as he say it did, that is so unfortunate, because his career was so great. And then all of a sudden, he had these problems, these skin problems. That's awful. And some people would think that he would have been a little more depressed and a little more unhappy, considering, you're on the top of the world and then now your whole appearance changed. Seemed like you would have had more telltale signs of like depression. Everybody know you ain't that light, bruh. And you on top of the world. And you're on top of, you're bigger than life. And then you have this change, and then you don't seem to really be affected by it. Actually, you seem more free. It's kind of hard. It's kind of hard for me to believe that part. And the reason why is because his dad gave him a complex about his appearance. His dad did that. So if your dad installs that you're not an attractive person, then you're going to be trying, if you have money that's the first thing he's going to probably try to do, is alter his appearance. That makes sense to me. And remind you, in those times, 80s and the 90s, that's when light-skinned guys were really in. In other words, culturally speaking, in the African American community, that was the type of guy to go after for a lot of women. That was the kind of guy that, and so for Michael to not be that, you got to look at that. For him to see all these other guys, these other groups, and see the light-skinned guy that he's not like. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm just throwing things out there. You know what I'm saying? How I feel is when somebody that big, people are gonna say you're gonna have to look white because you're the biggest. You can't look black. You're too big. You're too big you're too famous. You're too big. You can't look black. Some people might have told him just like that. That's what I'm trying to say. That's all I'm trying to say. And there are people that think like that. You're just too big. You're going to be in too many lights. You got to change your appearance. I'm right. Come on now, stop playing. I'm right now. Come on. Okay? So I say all of that and go through all of that, and that's necessary for me to do that. So you can understand that it became, because he was rejected by many black people, it became almost popular to talk negative about him, to talk about him in this way, because he didn't appear to be black, and some people back then they just felt that he didn't want to be black. And so then, the black community did not really, many people did not stand behind him. You know what I'm saying? They didn't defend him fiercely as one would defend someone like Michael that was rising to the top and that was black. He should have almost been defended like a civil rights leader or something, because he was so big. And that white people was gonna come after him. Come on, man. They don't care what you are. If you that big, you big as Michael Jordan. You're big as just anybody that anybody can think about. And all those racist people were still out there in the 80s. Come on, man. Man, that was one of their best decades. Really? Racist white people? They drinking, getting high, partying in the woods. And, and white people are doing great, financially speaking, in America. So, but, I think that's what happened. He got left behind by black people, and obviously white people ain't with him. And in that space, they began to destroy him. You know what I'm saying? And so, and there was no one to help him. So, but for Dave Chappelle, see, he's a genius. He showed you, the black community accept Dave Chappelle. He made all that, those hip hop and comedy specials, all of that. And it was beautiful. That was a beautiful thing. The Dave Chappelle show, with hip hop in it and everything. It was cool, and so he's definitely accepted. So when he said what he said about having sex with Macaulay Culkin, y'all didn't respond and say nothing. So it's another example of what I'm talking about. It's not what you do, it's who you are in America. That's facts. Because if anyone else had made a comment saying, if I was a pedophile, then Macaulay Culkin is the first kid I'm effing. Y'all would have went crazy. Oh man, no one jokes like that with kids. I don't care. It's not that much comedy in the world. You shouldn't joke with that with kids. Anything else but kids. Y'all didn't say nothing because he's one of your loved people. Nobody should be saying that. I think it was a genius joke to see what people would do. That's what I think he did it for. I think he knew his position in the black community. Because look, y'all said something about that tranny stuff and all the stuff, and he made it clear he had a tranny friend. He made it clear. Anybody with good understanding would know he ain't trying to throw off on trannies or trying to hate trannies or anything like that. It was common sense. He was telling you about somebody, a friend of his that was a tranny. So, that being said, you should have had the balance in that, but people still came for him. But you see how nobody say nothing about him talking about if he was a pedophile, he would have sex with Macaulay Culkin? No one said anything. Y'all didn't feel that was inappropriate. No one said anything. I feel like I don't fault him. I fault the audience. I fault the people that don't say nothing. Because you contradict yourself at the same time. You quick to say something else about something else though. You quick to say something about the tranny stuff when you made it clear that he already he already had a friend that was a tranny. So you should have used good understanding and realized he wasn't trying to hurt you. You know what I'm saying? That's just common sense. You know what I'm saying? And then him being a comedian on top of that, come on. They throw jabs of insults all the time. So, but he went out his way to show you that he wasn't against trans or transgenders. Okay? So, but that's the genius of Dave Chappelle. He showed that, it's not what you do, it's who you are. He just said it right in there in your face, If I was a pedophile, Macaulay Culkin is the first kid I'm having sex with. So he showed you also that he's not, I'm gonna say he's sexually attracted to Macaulay Culkin, but he looked at him as an object of sexual attraction. And y'all still didn't say nothing about that. And that's what I'm telling you. That's the difference. That's what tick people off like me, because I know you don't really care. You don't really care even if people even have sex with children. You don't really care. You don't really care. It's just if it matters if they're accepted in your community or not. That's all you care about. If they're not accepted to your community, get them. Yeah, he's this, he's that, he's that. Get them. That's how it works. That's how it works. And it didn't work with me though. As you can see, it ain't work with me because, God stood up and took care of it. All that little funny stuff y'all was doing before COVID. Remind you, they was playing around me before COVID. So what would anybody think? That COVID is a response to all the stuff that they did? Y'all caused the world to end. I ain't got nothing to do with that. Hey, that's between you and God. God is handling that. I don't have no magic wand. If I had a magic wand, all my enemies would have been defeated yesterday. That part, bro. You wouldn't, as a matter of fact, it would have been last year. Oh, this situation would have been done with. It's the mercy of God that you're here. You're here by the mercy of God, by God's goodness. That's what you're here about. Anyway, that's kind of something y'all really don't know about what I'm talking about. But I just wanted to touch on that though. Like, you know what I'm saying? It just shows the culture. Before the end of time, I don't care if tomorrow's the last day, whatever the last day is, before that day comes, I want all of these things to come out about the truth about people, the truth about, if everybody want to play the truth game, who everybody really is game, then we're going to talk about America. We're going to talk about the African American community. We're going to talk about white America. That's what I'm going to do. No, everybody want to play who is you game. Who are you game? Then let's do it. Let's just dump the whole box of America out like toys. Let's just dump the whole toy box open. Let's just dump it all out, and let's see what this whole country is. Because I'm not going to sit back and let people just sit back and observe. No, we're going to dump all this out. No, you ain't going to sit back and talk and okay, we're going to see who you are too. You want to try to play that game, who's who, exposing somebody, then we're going to see who's who. You see how uncomfortable that is? It's just as uncomfortable as it was when you was playing around my life. So, I just want people to know what it is, because people talk about, we don't like sexual deviance, but that's not true. It's not really true though, because how I feel, it's an image. It's the right thing to say. I can't say you really, let's put it like this. You're not proactive against the real issues of pedophilia. The real issues. Doing the real work. Not even the police. Not even the FBI. Because if they were, then they would be on top of the 40 states allowing adults to have sex with children. They would have been shut that down. That's what I'm saying. If the FBI was really, and the police were really about protecting children, then why haven't you went and vouchered about changing the laws of adults having sex with children in 40 states? Don't you think that's a bit of a compromise? Don't you think that's a bit of a contradiction to the American community? Not any other community. Don't you think that's a contradiction to these American authorities in the American community? Come on now. It's not complimenting the way you all think. I tell you that. It is not a compliment of thought concerning how y'all behave. You're like ravenous dogs talking about you're protecting children, but then 40 states allows adults to have sex with children. And like I established in all my videos about this, a human being is either an adult or a child. Which one? Okay, so that we don't care nothing about age. No, a human is an adult and a child. So why in 40 states is adults having sex with children? Tell me that. And then you complain about all this sex stuff going on like you're surprised when you have opened the door to the compromise. I don't get that, bruh. I don't get that. It's a hypocrisy to me. You open the door and then you say, well, behave in there, don't get crazy. Human nature is going to do exactly what you don't want them to do. So in my opinion, I don't feel like anyone has the right to witch hunt anybody about that kind of thing. Not if you open the door to it, though. I could see if it was 18 as the age of consent. Then, in the whole country, then I'll be like, okay, well, this is how people feel, so they're not contradicting themselves. But you are contradicting yourselves when 40 states allows adults to have sex with children. You don't got in other words, you should have no culture trying to witch hunt anybody about no sexual history whatsoever when you have 40 states allowing adults to have sex with children. You shouldn't be doing nothing concerning that. That's too close. That's too close. You have 40 states allowing adults to have sex with children. Period. We ain't talking about what age they are. We're talking about the compromise of standards. When people sit up and act like adults shouldn't be having sex with children. That's a compromise. When you got 40 states allowing adults to have sex with children. Not to mention that children 16 and 17 are not able to financially take care of a child if they have a child having sex at that age. So 40 states push people under 18 children in a predicament by having laws that facilitate sex with adults to the point where they could get a child or STD and destroy their whole life, because both would. Or the child would destroy a child's life. A child having a child can be detrimental to all dreams. She could be the best singer in the world, and if she has a child, man, it can be almost over for any hopes and dreams. So based on the wisdom of that they can't take care of children in this country, that alone should jack it up to 18. So you're not liable in your conscience to say, well, man, we set laws in 40 states allowing adults to have sex with children, and now the children they're not even living out their dreams. They got children, they got STDs, and it's our fault because legally by law, we allow them to have sex with adults, which can facilitate a sex lifestyle. It's one thing for children to be messing around. It's another thing for a man to have money to bring a girl to a house to have sex with her over and over, which eventually she might get a baby or STD. That's a whole different situation. And that's what you have going on in 40 states. At the same time, people witch hunting people for being pedophiles. I don't get that. I don't think no one has the right to do that when you have the compromise of 40 states allowing adults to have sex with children. You've opened the door to it. So how can you go in a right conscience, open the door to that, and then go witch hunt people? How can you do that? With a right conscience, knowing the door is open, knowing they probably going to do whatever they want to do because, and feel justified by doing it because you have opened the door. Yo, I bet some of these pedophiles be like, well, hey, they opened the door. They're allowing adults to have sex with children. I don't think these pedophiles are dumb. Not all of them. I mean, they're dumb with what they're doing with children, but they have a brain to think. And if a pedophile found out, hey, man, they allowed adults to have sex with children in 40 states. So what's really the difference than what I'm doing? That part, boom. That's what some would say. What would you say if you was a pedophile and you turned around and you found out 40 states allowing adults to have sex with children? What would you feel? I'm in a noble country that just got me arrested. I would feel like I'm in a country that's hypocritical. I would feel like I'm in a country that is allowing adults to have sex with children and fulfill their fantasies of being with underage human beings. That's what I would feel. I would not feel that they're noble. Anything but that. And so, like I try to tell people, the military, I try to get the police, all you firemen, all you people, you even good politicians, I try to get you to see, how do you feel about this? You got 40 states allowing adults to have sex with children. I don't care about your state that doesn't do it. I'm talking about the majority of the country doesn't, which speaks for America. Unfortunately, your little state doesn't matter when the majority, 40 states, allows it this way. That speaks for the majority of America. And you can't be, who you mad at? Me or yourself? Who you mad at? You can't be mad at me. That's ridiculous. That's ludicrous. And so I'm showing you how the whole culture is so hypocritical. They talk about, oh, we love children, man. Ain't nobody, we're going to get those little bastards. We're going to witch hunt these people. We're going to make them suffer. Meanwhile, you still got 40 states allowing adults to have sex with children, though. Meanwhile, though. That's what I'm saying. Meanwhile. And then when you get done with it and you feel you accomplish your mission, you still got 40 states allowing adults to have sex with children. You still got that going on. In other words, children are still having sex with adults while you feel like you finished your mission.